Hello, this is BT, back finally with another video after like 5 months. I'm gonna keep this as brief as I can for now, but I want to start a new series called TADTalk, very cleverly named, just because I am utterly concerned about some of the headlines that I see every day at this point, and I have been for quite some time. What I see now is more humorous to me than anything honestly. I've overall kind of come to the conclusion that worrying doesn't really help with anything. And I feel like kind of talking about these issues like forcibly just causes like unneeded stress for a lot of people. It's never really good to dive straight into stuff that's kind of completely out of our control. So, especially when we're all trying to get employed and go into school. But yeah, deep down, I've always been a person who's had concerns about the world, humanity, and the current direction that things are going in. I kind of assumed things would play out like right, and I wouldn't have to like worry about climate change and other shit until like 2050. But that doesn't seem like it's too much of the case anymore. I don't know. It never really seemed like I'd have to think this much like outside of my goals, the amount of backwards thinking there is nowadays. And yeah, despite my desire to kind of stay set on my path, being pre-med, biology, all that cool stuff, I've always had a philosophical side of myself that I feel like has prevailed more lately with what I truly want to do, and just kind of like expressing my opinions about things. And I feel like these problems that are going on, I'm entirely ready to talk about it. I feel like in the end, I'm pretty optimistic about things in this point in my life. I'm feeling pretty well set up with my current commitments, despite what's going on around us. I'm like a little bit anxious, but more eager and excited to see what the future will bring. And I don't know, it's kind of weird just thinking about how we're literally at a historic like time period right now. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. The book that I mentioned in the title has been more or less an autobiography that I kind of started writing like 3.5 years ago after I took my first philosophy class and didn't really like it. It's not all meant to be ominous and foreboding. The title is "And I Sent You on Your Way." And it's kind of more meant to be open and discussion based, prompting people to kind of think about like the meaning of life and different things related to philosophy, like why we're here, what exactly is the universe, and other cool stuff like that. That's more of what it's about versus being about my life. It's meant to be more objective versus subjective. That's kind of always how I've been as a person. I've always been pretty faithful and religious and spiritual at heart. So this is going to be kind of my way of fulfilling that side of me, I guess. Right now, I have 4 different chapters with an intro. One is just titled The Arguments, where I have loosely structured arguments that are meant to be more casual and discussion-based versus like rigid and structured like a lot of philosophical arguments are, at least back in the day. Chapter 2, my personal beliefs. Chapter 3, bonus questions and goofs. And chapter 4, I won't reveal that just yet, but the information is not meant to be overbearing at all. I like put ratings by the arguments 2 out of 10, just how I personally feel about them. And it's not really meant to, convince people of any one thing. I just have a general conclusion, and it's not meant to be, forced down people's throats. It is some pretty sobering stuff, though, which is why talking about it in normal conversation is pretty impossible. And I don't know, it's sometimes, just hard to talk about it. One last thing to note is that it's not at all about any kind of grudge or hate for one specific person or one specific belief, one specific pathway of faith. It's not who I am at heart. I'm pretty open, and I feel like I'm someone who's just easily swayed by people. I kind of love listening to different people's viewpoints. This just doesn't feel like exactly true to me. I will stick to my usual content, which I plan on uploading anyways. BT is going nowhere. Yeah, a few different things inspired me to do this, mainly from the something I mentioned in the title, which I kind of want to stem from. This is an essay called Keep the Future Human, and a contest that is based around the essay, where top 5 winners who submit some kind of project could win like 10 grand. So it sounds like something awesome to pursue, kind of right in my breadbasket. I would say ultimately though, this mainly comes out of a love I have for some of the other channels on YouTube that have just uploaded some amazing content over the years. I'll just mention a few, but Gooby and Doobie is definitely number 1, who kind of has content exactly like this. But even like Vsauce, Wendigoon, John and Hank Green, and even the LA Beast, who does food challenges, like just honest talk to the camera content has been something awesome. And I feel like just a way that people can kind of really express themselves. Yeah, that's all for now. I might upload more videos related to this pretty soon, especially since my computer is broken. But depending on how this turns out, I might invest more and get a better camera and have something better next time compared to an iPhone and AirPods. All right, that's all. BT out. Have an amazing, amazing day.